when the world gave up on me, I didn't give up on myself. And that's the biggest thing. My family uplifted me, my support system uplifted me, and I never gave up what my goal was.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome in. And I'm going to say it loud and clear. The champs are here. The champs are here. The 2023 SEC champions, your Alabama Crimson Tide, and you're here to talk about it with the Bama Standard. Before we get rolling, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, live chat, get live, get rowdy. You got the show to do it on. If you're watching the replay, get in the comment section, show us some love there. As always, we're brought to you by Workspace Solutions. If your business needs a digital presence or a full-fledged marketing team, go to workspacepros.com. Let them coach your business up to a championship. We got the all-star crew with you right now, led by none other than the undefeated, undisputed king of comedy and the star of the show, the Steve Brown.
Hey, man, I'm happy to be on. I'm thrilled. As a matter of fact, man, I was in the gym this morning at like 7:20, and some guys walked up to me like, hey, man, you're the guy from the Bama Standard. I'm like, well, dog, y'all are watching it? I was like, yeah, man, everybody's starting to watch that show. And I'm like, well, man, listen, let me correct y'all. I'm not the guy who's on the Bama Standard. I'm the star of the show. Get it right. And I walked off with just a towel on. Yeah, they caught me in the sauna, you know. But I didn't think it would be appropriate for me to walk off naked. So I put a towel on and walk off. Slow.
Save it for your OnlyFans, Steve. I get that.
Right.
Keep him come back for more.
Marvin would have walked off naked.
He would have. And then he would post it on Instagram. But
Why
anyway.
the subject of your jokes and concern.
And the man next to him who's bent out of shape, a 1999 All-SEC linebacker. When Ric Flair said, to be the man, woo, you got to beat the man. He is that man. And right now, a internet sensation, Marvin Constant.
I did tell y'all my score prediction was 27-20. I was only off by 4 points on the Georgia side. Did I not tell you that?
You said it. You said it.
Marvin, we know you are inside Vegas handicapper. We know.
Oh, yes, Sharon, already talking about being naked. Lord, hey, this is what
That's
you
me.
get. I dare anyone to find content like this on any other channel. You're not. That's why you're here. Last but not least, the senior analyst of Touchdown Alabama Magazine and international sex symbol, Stephen M. Smith.
Yo, let's go. We in the playoff. We in here.
Yes, sir. And Bo will be joining us just a little bit later. We got a lot to talk about tonight. We got some great segments lined up. And I promise you're probably going to get saved after watching these. But before we do all that, we got some championship talk to get to. Who wants to start out for, the internet sensation? Why not? Marvin Constant, let's lead it off. Go ahead. Then we'll go to Steve Brown. And then we'll go to Stephen M. Smith.
All right, listen, I'm going to keep this real brief. Did I not tell y'all last week with Bowers being injured and McCarthy having his injury that you're not going to see them attempt to run that tunnel screen in the middle of the field as much as they normally do, that they're going to to run it into the boundary to keep them out of harm's way, and that our defense is too fast, and if they stay disciplined, it's not going to work. Did I not tell y'all that?
They tried it one time, and it got shut down.
Because when you're injured, there's no way you can get between those hashes like that. And you're one lick away from being out of the game. So I knew they were going to try to keep everything on the perimeter. And I knew our defense was too fast for that. But did I not tell y'all that last week?
You told us.
And you've told a lot of different things these past few days. And we'll get to that just a little bit later. And we appreciate all the engagement here on our YouTube channel and TikTok. Steve Brown, take the baton, be the star that you are. We appreciate the post-game analysis. It was mind-blowing. Keep the ball going.
Man, I'm just happy for the guys. I'm happy for the team, and I'm happy that we got this far. And the momentum is just like, man, we're a juggernaut right now, man. I don't think we can be stopped. I think this is the time, and I'm just waiting on my segment.
Well, Steve, I'll tell you this, though. The true difference in that game was our offensive line, especially that right side of the line. They took control of the game. And I told you last week, we have to controlled the line of scrimmage in order to win this game. That their defense couldn't play on our side and that our defense had to play on their side. And that's exactly what happened. We led the game in rushing. We had 114 rushing. They had 78. Mm-hmm. So again, our offensive line, that right side especially, if you watch them, they were mauling people. And I was so excited to see that. And then our defense, listen, man, the one thing that impressed me most about this defense is when Kool-Aid went out, the way Amos came in
and got better.
Not miss a
got
beat.
better.
He
got better, Marvin. I'm sorry.
Elevated the level of play.
He should have picked off that one pass, potentially two.
Yep.
Like when I tell you, that made me so happy to see that, okay, we can plug and play at this point. This team is peaking at the right time. This is not the team you want to play. That's why when Michigan seen Alabama, you said,
you saw that? You saw that?
Because again, Michigan know that ass whooping coming.
Hey, Marvin, but you know what the thing is? I would ask y'all, who is this number 77? That dude.
Jaden Roberts.
Jaden Roberts.
The Hulk.
He's almost as strong as me. Oh, my goodness.
Dare to dream, though, Steve. Dare to dream.
I mean,
a couple more years of training.
This dude was crushing people. And the thing is, he got a penalty for holding, but really it was a pancake block. It was a pancake block. Yeah. And you got to give Proctor his props again. Proctor's coming along at the right time too, man. So yeah.
Proctor, hey, I'm glad you mentioned that because you've been on his support system the entire year. Saturday, he was the highest graded lineman in that game. And yeah, Jaden Roberts, man, what a difference he's made this entire year, bringing in an energy and inspirational energy. And he's been compared to the Hulk, like the Avengers. If you've not seen the pictures that are floating around of the Hulk in Alabama pads, you need to see it. But seeing him pull this past Saturday and literally sending a man into orbit just made my soul smile. And there was a couple of times where Seth McLaughlin actually took on two guys at once and just had them stuck. They couldn't do a thing. It's all about matching Georgia's physicality. And we were led to believe that the heart of the defense was up front. Well, if that's their heart, then they had a heart attack because they couldn't do much of anything. We put them down. We wore them down. They were actually lined up where they needed to be to stop plays. It's just that we out-physicaled them. We wore them down mentally. We leaned on them. They weren't used to that.
You got to play on their side of the ball. If we weren't controlling that line of scrimmage, we had no shot in this game. And when I tell you, I was so pleased to see these guys step up and not let the moment be too big for them. Because, again, we go down 7-0 early. And if you look at the first half statistics, that's where 92% of Georgia's, I think 92% of Georgia's total yards came from the first half is that drive. Outside of that, shut that down. When I tell you this is the style of defense that I love to see, total domination. And I'm glad we didn't have to wait till the second half to see them do that. In-game adjustments, man. If we still had somebody else, we probably would have got destroyed, but we don't. So thank you, Coach Steele. And again, hats off to that defense.
Hey, but Marvin, they did something exactly what I think I said they would do. Coach Steele, to me, it seems like his MO is, we're going to see what you're going to do first. We're going to play a basic D, cover two or whatever. We're going to see what you're going to do. This is what happened the first part of the game. Because I think Justin was on, all of us in that group chat, and Justin was going crazy. Like, man, they just run the ball. Like, no, just be patient. Watch what happens. And he just stayed in that cover two. And I'm like, now the adjustment is going to come. Next thing you know, everything was getting shut down. So I just think Coach Steele is one of those coaches that he will let you, he's going to see what you're trying to do, see what your scheme is, and then he's going to make the adjustments and shut it down.
But I told y'all we had to stay out of that cover too, given that they like to run those screens in between those hashes. But with those injuries, it was going to be a 50-50 whether they took that approach. They tried it a little bit, but the little bit that they tried it was later in the game where you'll see they started to try to get Bowers between those hashes and start to pick us apart. But it was too late by that point. It was too late, baby.
Number four.
Go ahead.
Yeah, it's your turn, Stephen. You hadn't had a chance to say anything other than your Eli Gold impersonation, which was absolutely beautiful, by the way.
Appreciate that. Now, before I get into giving the condolences to the coaching staff, I gotta say this. Shouts out to Malachi Moore. He made the tackle that shut everything down. They tried to play the McCarthy outside. Malachi saw it, read it, shut it off. That was a 3-yard loss.
Mhm.
That was the turnaround right there. Started on Malachi Moore on Georgia's second offensive drive. Now, the coaches that earned their paycheck, number one was Eric Wolford. That offensive line played up.
Mhm.
Eric Wolford earned that paycheck. That offensive line did its thing. Number two, Kevin Steele earned his.
Mhm.
Aside from that one drive, Kevin Steele earned his. And if I had to give a third one, it wasn't pretty, but to some degree, Tommy Reese earned his.
Mhm.
When you
Oh,
needed
yeah.
two drives, when Tommy Reese finally recognized their net does have the underneath stuff, and he got Isaiah Bond going underneath and Kobe Prentice underneath, Tommy Reese found out, okay, I can take this, now I can roll with it.
Mhm.
So Reese, Steele, and Wolford earned their checks.
Speaking about earning checks, we got a couple of super chats to get to.
What?
We got Arlette Collins, $2, and just below there, we got Tat Lawson, 2, Danny Cannell, Green Booger McFarland, David Pollock. I looked in my wallet. I looked under the couch. I could not find one F to give y'all. Nice. I guess y'all also watched Steve Brown's little clip he had for David Pollock. Then Don Parker comes in with $5. Saturday night was the night the lights went out in Georgia.
Hmm.
Marvin, I got to give you credit. Everything played out exactly how you called it. And you did also say when you concluded your prediction, the score would not reflect the level of domination that we would see on Saturday. Stephen M. Smith mentioned it too. There was 4 or 5 interceptions that could have been taken, 2 of which could have been housed. So this could have been a lot worse than what it was shown. But, you know, you come out with the W at the end of the day. That's all that matters, especially when people told us leading up to this game. Yet again, I don't know why people bet against us. We shouldn't even bother showing up.
I mean, didn't Danny Cannell say Bama was going to get boat raced by Georgia?
Yeah.
And then and then you had Danny Turtleneck Cannell and David Pollock sitting here going, Kirby's a completely better coach, but now Kirby is 1-5. 1-5. Oh boy.
And hey, gotta bring up something and lost in the midst of all of the celebration. We got another reason to celebrate. Our kicker, Will Reichard, is the NCAA's all-time points leader. Congratulations to that young man.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Absolutely. And not only just that, with his 2 touchdowns, Jalen Milroe is now 6th all time in Alabama history for total touchdowns in a single season. He is now 6th all time.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Oh
You
yeah.
trying to catch me, huh?
Not the most appearances at the CC.
Hold on, Marvin. Touchdowns, not tackles. Touchdowns.
You don't see me strike that high from the pole?
That's not the pose, though, Marvin. It seems
It's
like you
not.
shooting a bow and arrow. That's what it's like. Like
Hey, Ram man, we're not talking to you right now. Okay? Don't come for me.
He's got a little bit of internet famous going to his head, Steve. We know
Yeah,
who the
man.
star is.
Man, I had to turn my phone off at one point. It was like, nah, it was too much, man.
I ain't gonna lie. I'm here to hate on Marvin because I'm a little jealous. Because right now, I got to say this, and I'll never see it again in life. Marvin, right now, he's the star of the show.
Wow. What?
Oh my
broke
gosh.
the internet.
You heard it here.
We got to shift the balance of power back, Steve. And what a perfect segue to one of the greatest segments there is. We got a lot to talk about. Ladies and gentlemen, get your popcorn ready for No Laughing Matter.
Oh, you know what? Welcome to No Laughing Matter. Let me say this. I know there are a lot of fans out there hating Marvin Constant right now, and rightfully so, because he was right and he trolled your fan base. And when we win the national championship, he is going to be relentless. And speaking of fan bases, there are a lot of people in our fan bases that hate Steve Brown. Why? Well, not I wouldn't say our fans. I would say the naysayers. The naysayers.
Let's talk about them, Steve.
Do y'all remember before the season started? Jalen Milroe was garbage. He's this. He's that. He's this. When we won't win 5 games, chalk up the season. We will never get to the playoffs with this kid. He can't throw. He can't hit the broadside of a barn. He can't read defenses. Where are you now? Yes, and guess what? We were trying to get you to stop doing it. You weren't doing it. You were relentless. So I decided to give you what you gave Jalen. Because, yes, I am a Milroe maniac. Yes, I am a Milroe maniac. And I am going to troll the Bama naysayers until the season is over. I'm going to give you exactly what you gave us, the relentlessness of the troll. Yes, I am. I'm every weekend after Bama plays, even up until the next game, I'm going to be like, hey, what do you think of Jalen now? I'm going to be making all types of posts. So just sit there and take it like we, the Milroe maniacs, took it from you. Roll Tide. Roll Milroe.
That sounds like a great shirt idea, Steve. When we get that on circulation?
Milroe maniacs.
Yes, it's amazing. We actually caught a lot of hell this entire season up until Tennessee game, when all of a sudden they start hearing what we projected unravel before their eyes. We were dubbed the Milroe podcast, and we were told that he's another synonym, Steve, a turnover machine. Was funny. I can't remember the last time he's thrown an interception
or fumbled.
Matter of fact, his play has elevated this team to be in the playoff. Had we not had his play, where would we be right now? Where would Gravedigger, the famous play against Auburn, be right now?
And Justin, let me say this. Now they want to say I'm a crap stirrer, and the first thing they want to say is let it go. Let it go. Okay, enough.
So you're Elsa now.
Not right, but but when we asked you guys to let it go and stop criticizing our players publicly and calling the names and this and that, did you let it go? You didn't let it go. So, like I said, when you did that, it was like crapping into a fan. You're gonna get everything you got. You're gonna get everything you gave given back to you, but I'm gonna do it in a classy way. Go Milroe. Yeah, I'm a Milroe maniac. I am.
So it's cool when they do it, but it's a problem when we do it, right?
Exactly.
And the thing is it doesn't just affect us. You saw the emotion at the beginning. I purposely put that clip at the beginning of our show to remind people exactly what he's had to deal with. He's had a lot of growth that he had to endure. He's had a lot of people telling him, you don't belong here. You're a running back, or you're a wide receiver or a tight end. You don't belong here. You're going to cost us 5 or 6 games.
Yep.
He heard all that. Those tears were all that. But the great thing is he didn't listen to a damn one of y'all. So I applaud him, and I applaud the support system that was in place that allowed him to overcome the naysayers. And not one of y'all deserve a Link t-shirt. But I'm sure y'all be lined up at Walmart after the championship to get him to sign it. That's just the way things go.
Hey, Justin, one last thing, and let me say this, and this is as real as it's going to get. I think that kid pretty much he showed class by saying the world was against him. Let's just keep it real. It wasn't the world. It was most of the Bama fans. It was our people doing it to him. Go ahead, Mark.
I will say there were other fan bases that did say, we're happy he's your quarterback because he won't do anything against us. How did that work out for you?
Yeah. But I'm talking about our fans. We got to hold ourselves accountable. Our fans, a lot of our fans are doing it.
I get it.
Yeah, because the Bama fans love me, but they love to hate me, and I embrace it. All right, let's move on.
Well, I got a couple of super chats to get to. We appreciate you guys. Eric Beasley, $10. Roll Tide. Watching this team improve from week to week makes this season so much more enjoyable. Absolutely. Jimmy Clay, $25. Roll Tide, fellas. Thank you, Jimmy Clay. Brother, you're number one in our hearts. And that's the thing is this year was all about the process. I think we as fans forgot what that meant. We are so used to everything being made ready, the drive-through approach. Stephen Smith, you gave an incredible analogy a few weeks ago on a post-game show where you said it was crockpot Bama. And for anyone who missed that, it seemed funny at the time, but there was so much truth in that. So if you would, please explain that analogy, go through that again, and tell the people exactly what this season was.
Well, I mean, we live at a time where we want things quickly, we want things fast. It's microwavable. If I can't have it now, what's the point of it? And it's like food. You want the food now, whether it's Uber Eats, DoorDash, what have you. But the best things in life take time. And when you look at whether you're doing a stew, whether you're doing a pot roast, whatever you're cooking in that crock pot, it forces you to be patient. And sometimes we look at patience as a cuss word. I got to wait? What you mean by that, bro? But when you put that food in that crock pot and those juices come together and those ingredients come together and you stick your fork in there and you eat that, my God, this was the meal I've been waiting for all day. It took some patience, but you got that meal. So when you look at the Bama teams that have won championships, it's crockpot Bama. Stuff has had to come together. It wasn't clicking early at first, but when every piece came together and Bama clicked at the right time, what happened? A championship, and nobody wanted to play this team because they were clicking what? At the right time. Jalen Milroe's a prime example. Early on, people were like, I ain't feeling it. But once this brother came together with Tommy Rees and this defense is clicking, and this thing is ascending upward, now you see a Bama that's playing for a national championship. It took some time. It took some patience, but it was that crock pot, and now this team in the playoff.
Well, Steve, let me dig a little bit deeper into that. So this team, I'll be honest with you, it reminds me a lot of the team that I played on in 1999 when we won the SEC championship. We suffered an early loss to La Tech, and what that loss made us do was take a step back and regroup. And when we regrouped, what we started doing was holding each other accountable. Now, what did that accountability lead to? Yes, it led to us winning the SEC championship, but it also led to us having a lifelong brotherhood. A lot of you probably seen the pictures from this weekend where there was 25 of us together, and some of us hadn't seen each other in years, but we played together at Alabama, 20-something years ago. And still to this day, we talk on a regular basis because we developed that bond going through that process together. When you can go through that process and you come out on the other side stronger, nothing can stop you. So that's what this team did.
Marvin, I like that. That's why you're the show.
The weather show?
The show.
That sounds like we got some interference. But folks, I hate to say I told you so, but with what Stephen M. Smith said, he tried to tell you, but didn't Nick Saban tell you at the beginning of the season? The cake is in the oven, it's still baking?
I promise you Nick Saban said that. and people were laughing at Nick. Apparently, I got folks hungry, Justin. We got the champion saying, I want some pot roast.
This is not Golden Corral. This is the Bama Standard, although we are accepting new sponsors.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, most def. Yeah. Yeah.
The biggest thing, and Coach Saban said it over and over again in the press conference, he's proud of this team. He used the word team over and over again. It's been a long time since we've come together as a team. We've had a bunch of individuals who are more concerned about self, who are more concerned about Instagram likes and being Instagram models, NIL. And also last year, we were expecting Will Anderson or Bryce Young to do absolutely everything. Well, the period of uncomfortability made us comfortable and allowed us to find out who we are, and we actually started leaning on each other again.
Mm-hmm. I love it.
What's so great is the fact that everybody on this team held everybody accountable. I go back to the week 3 game against South Florida, and this told me something. That was an ugly win. But the fact of that game where Dallas Turner gets called for a penalty and Deontay Lawson checked him right there on the field.
Mm-hmm.
Like Dion ran up to Dallas Turner, Marvin's boy, QB killer, in week 3, ran up to him and checked him right there on the spot. At that point, I knew, okay, this is a team. They're all in on each other, but they're holding each other accountable. And at that moment, I knew this is a different team. They're not waiting around for somebody else to be the hero. They're doing the business right there. And here comes Huggin Henry.
Hey, but you know something? You know something? I think he also checked him at the Tennessee game too. When he was at the Texas A&M game. When
Yeah,
he
that was A&M. That was A&M. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. So
Marvin, we got a question here from Sully. So
What's
you don't
up?
miss hugging? You don't miss hugging Henry?
You don't see my response to Sully? That would be a no. Well, again, I had nothing against Henry, and I said it numerous times on this show. I'm not saying he's a horrible player, but I said he's playing out of position. Middle linebacker is not for everybody. Somebody's got to play outside linebacker, because I'll be honest with you, to play middle linebacker, you got to have balls of steel and take no crap and be ready to lay it on the line at any damn time. Anything less than that, then it ain't for you. I'll be honest with you, you got to be damn near be ready to die to play middle linebacker, because it can happen. It's the most physical and brutal position on the football field. So again, if you ain't ready to put your life on the line, it ain't for you.
I got a question.
Everybody's not committed to it.
I got a question, Marvin, real quick.
Yeah.
So, do you think Henry would have survived in Kevin Steele's defense?
That's exactly where I was going.
As a middle linebacker.
Teams.
Sorry, Justin.
No,
Yeah,
I mean it's a
he
good
playing
point.
Special teams or outside, but even I don't see him playing outside with the outside linebackers we got. Which one's the outside linebackers that you have put on the bench for him to play?
I wonder if Huggin Henry or Henry Toa Toa, I'll say it, his actual name, his lack of production wasn't what it was at Tennessee. Was that because of Pete Golding? What could he have been under Kevin Steele? We see him now in the NFL starting and leading the team in tackles under a great defensive mind and D'Amico Ryans. So you have to think, was his lack of production a direct correlation of a bad defensive coordinator, or was he truly the problem?
Can I say this?
Yes.
I would truly say if he went from that to starting in the NFL, it was truly the defense coordinator. Now let's keep it 100. Bama is out there hitting people. They are thudding people. I think from what I can see, from what I've noticed, and Marvin, you can correct me on this. The defense that we had under the previous coordinator, they were laying people down. They were all right. But this one, we are punishing people. So it leads me to believe that Pete Golding didn't teach aggression. He taught just analytics. That's
How
it.
many times did I say these are college kids and they play to the personality of their coach?
No.
I've said that for years. And again, if you go out there with this, oh, it's going to be okay, guys.
Just get them down.
Performance you're going to get. Now you go out there. Hey, listen, you know what we here to do? Bring your A game. Anything less is unacceptable. And I don't want to hear no damn excuses. Do your damn job.
Pete Golding's coaching philosophy was tackle, but get consent first. All right, we got a super chat.
Could you sign this, please? So
Yeah, I need you to sign this waiver.
Yeah, and it says right here in fine print, I'm just going to lay you down. I'm not going to.
But in all seriousness, playing middle linebacker is not an easy position. And if you're not slightly touched, it's hard to play that position.
That's true.
Because you're laying your body and your life on the line every play.
Mark, I must say this, man. I was watching some old clips of you, man, and I'm beginning to think you damn near crazy because you was plugging holes, you was doing everything, bro. I gotta get that to you. I ain't gonna even lie to you. As much as I don't like you, Marvin was as much as I don't like this dude. He was Marv. I was like, is that old sorry ass Marvin doing it? Hey, look at some old. Listen, fans, I need y'all to go and look at some old clips of Marvin Constant and some of the Bama games, and that is certified crazy linebacker. And today, this is why I'm giving you the
what?
Hey, look. I get it, but look. So to Sherry Fisher's question, she asked me, "Is that how my coach is talking?" I was coached by Jeff Rousey. Ooh. If you know anything about the history of Alabama football, you know who Jeff Rousey is. And Jeff wasn't taking no crap. Period. I seen Jeff shaking kids on the side. Coach Rousey wasn't playing no games. But the one thing I can tell you about Coach Rousey, he never had to raise his voice at me. He never had to motivate me. Me and him were like this. He knew when I send that one across them white lines, he finna go take care of everything that needed to be took care of. No questions asked.
Well, folks, I'm about to go against my better judgment and give the floor to Marvin Constant for his segment. But before I do that, Big Bill from New York, $5. You know, a fan can think another player should start. Am I wrong? Toa was bashed on his very board day after day. Was that okay?
No.
On this very board.
No, it wasn't. And me advocating fans and everybody else not bashing our players. We were wrong. We were wrong. We were having fun with it. And
mainly
you know
Stephen
what?
Smith. It was his fault.
Yes. And
also,
I
now I'm being thrown under the bus.
And I really want to seriously say that, yeah, we were wrong. And I don't like when us as fans bash our very own players. So therefore, we want to send an apology to Toa on behalf of Marvin, because it was Marvin's fault.
Mainly
That's
Marvin.
it. Let's do it.
Again,
All right.
I said it numerous times. He's playing out of position. Did I not say that numerous times?
And Marvin, don't say another word. We held ourselves accountable. That's it.
We did.
So we good now.
That's it.
Good. We listen now. We say, and now we can't be responsible for how you think. The Bama Standard is covered.
That's it. Before we get to Marvin's segment, because we know he's going to be a while. Steven M., we got a question here. Hunter Biden's worried about Ryan Williams, about him defecting to the Tigers, to the Plains. Anything to worry about? It seems like Ryan Williams is pretty locked in. He's not going anywhere, but go ahead and ease his mind a little bit.
Ryan Williams isn't going anywhere. He's going to reclassify for 2024. He's coming to Bama. He was set to come out 2025, but there's nothing much left he can do in high school. He's accomplished everything at Saraland High School toward the Mobile area. He's going to reclassify, come out this year for 2024. He's coming to Alabama. Like, he's talking to Coach Saban so many times. He's already got relationships with Isaiah Bond and Kobe Prentice and those guys already. He's excited to get on here. Every time that we've been able to get around to him, it's like, I'm locked in. Ryan Williams is coming. Rico Scott is coming. Amari Jefferson or Amari Rogers. All three of those guys are coming. The only two who are not coming is the Coleman kid that flipped from Texas A&M to Auburn, but you're not really losing much there. And Perry Thomas is going to Auburn. But three of the best receivers in this class, Williams, Rico Scott, and Amari, they're all coming.
I'll tell you what's coming. The college football playoffs. And folks, you get to hear from the man himself. We're going to talk about the college football playoffs. How did we get in? What about those rankings? And does strength of schedule really mean anything? And more importantly, did anybody get screwed in this whole ordeal? Well, there's only one man who can properly lead this discussion. You've seen him on the internet. It's time to see him live. Ladies and gentlemen, it's time for Constant's Chaos.
All right. First and foremost, I want to issue an apology because my phone it's been stupid. Like, I just left my phone in the kitchen the other night because it just would not stop going off. So I want to issue an apology to Failure State University. I'm sorry that only 4 out of the 13 teams that you beat had a winning record. I'm sorry that your 13 teams that you beat had a combined record of 77 and 79. I'm sorry that you play in an inferior conference known as the ACC. So the next time the SEC considers expansion, please submit that application so that you can get that butt tapped on a weekly basis, and we won't even have to revisit this conversation because, again, this is SEC football. This is Alabama football, and we will always be taking over you. So you and your trash can team can regroup and try it again next year. But until then, roll damn tide. Now, as far as what's going on, the future moving forward, we got Michigan ahead of us. Now, strength of schedule, strength of rank. Michigan's schedule isn't the best either. I think their opponents had a combined win record of 77 and 73, I think. It was very close to basically playing mediocre teams. So, again, All this Michigan talk from these fans, all this rah-rah about how they're more physical. Against who? Who's really in the Big Ten outside of Ohio State? Because Penn State didn't really show us much.
Mm-hmm.
So you beat one school that might halfway be worth something. Again, you're about as bad as Florida State, who beat a pedestrian Louisville team in the ACC championship. You had to play Iowa. Neither one of your opponents were worth a damn. So how do you even have the balls or the gall to make a comment about us who had to play the number one team, Georgia? But yet, we didn't deserve to be there because we had to beat number one to be there. When you had to beat cupcake teams who about as bad as toilet water. And please, get off my phone. Listen, SEC dominance. Y'all about to find out what the SEC really means. Ass whoopings all damn day long. That's all I got.
Man, please don't stop there. The church door's just open and some lives are being changed right now.
We are passing around the collection plate. $20. $20 in the plate.
Seriously,
$20.
you look at who Michigan played, Iowa.
You see what
Florida
you started?
State played Louisville. When has either one of those teams been relevant in this last win? Ever. Never. But yet you want to hang your hat on the fact that you beat a Louisville and an Iowa, so you should be in the playoff. That's like giving lollipops to everybody who show up at the damn door. Just because you show up don't mean you deserve one.
I'm finna go.
I'm going to throw something in here, and I talked a little bit about it Saturday, and I'm going to further dive into it right now. But before I do that, Don Parker's got $5 in the offering plate already. Yes, Georgia was ordering cupcakes from Emily's all season. Hey, nothing wrong with that. But let's look at the reality. We live in a generation that is all about the participation trophy, correct? And this past season, the participation trophy team was TCU.
Horned Frogs.
Because TCU was allowed in, we all saw what ultimately was going to come from that. The college football playoff lost millions of dollars in TV revenue.
Beaten like a motherless child.
At the end of the day, it's all about money. I'm not saying it's right. I'm not saying it's wrong.
Business.
They were looking at the same situation, allowing Florida State to come in, who's down to their second, really third team quarterback, and set themselves up for the same exact thing where they get absolutely destroyed, thus causing a lot of TV revenue to be lost. They couldn't afford that back-to-back years. At the end of the day, they are a business, the business of making money. So who do you bring in? The money maker. Again, not saying it's right, not saying it's wrong. I'm being objective here. You bring in an Alabama to face a Michigan, in the Rose Bowl. Nick Saban versus Jim Harbaugh. Money. The ultimate goal, what they all really want, is to get Alabama versus Texas, part 2. And all they hear in their minds is ka-ching, ka-ching, ka-ching. Boom. Go ahead, Marvin.
You remember as a kid when you were playing 7- and 8-year-old football and the team you were supposed to play couldn't make it, so you had to go play the 9- and 10-year-old team and you got your ass handed to you? Mm-hmm. That's what this was pretty much going to be like if they had to put Florida State into the playoffs. Mm-hmm. It was not going to be a great result. So, again, at some point, you got to protect the teams from themselves. So, in essence, they did Florida State a favor in protecting their brand opposed to allowing them to go get their ass kicked by somebody in the playoffs. Because, again, as a Florida State, you can't go into a playoff game and get beat 40 or 50 to nothing. That's not a good look for you, especially in recruiting. So the committee kind of did you a favor, Florida State. So y'all should probably send them a thank you card opposed to being mad. Because had they went to the playoffs, that brand would be crushed.
But was it a favor? Because now they're looking at a mad Georgia team. They are about to get the dust beat out of them, bro. Because,
well, they did them a favor.
Georgia is going to play like this is why we should still be in it. Georgia's going to beat the dust off of them. And
if their players don't opt out, though, that's the question, though, Steve. And it's you bring up Georgia. There was an argument about them being in. Listen, can they beat any of the top 3 teams in the playoff right now? Yes, there's no question, no question about that, excluding us. And they didn't beat us. That's the thing. If you're going to lose early. They lost late. They lost to the champs. The champs are here, and they're out. And I would love to see Georgia in it, but that's not what's going to happen. So now they get to take out their aggression on Florida State. Real quick, K-Spray, $4.99. Tell it, Marvin. All right, guys, pick it up. Stephen and Smith, we haven't really heard from you enough. Go ahead and take the batons, gentlemen.
I'll say this, and I mentioned this on my show Monday. The College Football Playoff Committee, for as much as we like to poke fun at Blake Corum and his staff, finally they got it right. They got it correct. You got 3 major brands in here. Then the West Coast got its team with Washington in here. But you got Alabama. Bama Nation gonna travel. There are 3 types of fans out there. The Bama fans that love Bama, the Bama haters that want to see Bama get beat, and the third party that's indifferent, but they just like to see good quality football. Bama brings you that. So the Southeastern's covered. Then you got the Midwest. There's Michigan. Maize and blue, traditional power, big market, big brand, Jim Harbaugh. You know, Alabama fans want to see Jim Harbaugh go down every chance that they get to see that happen. And when you look at Texas, 3rd year under Sarkisian, Sark's got him in the playoffs. That's all money. That's business tycoons. That's big marketing. You got Texas in there. So, so that's what I'm saying. So everybody now, the TV sets are happy. Las Vegas is happy. Money is happy because what's in the playoff is everything that you recognize. And when it's everything that you recognize, and you know, I'm not going to get a dud from Texas. I'm not going to get a dud from Michigan. I know I'm not going to get a dud of a game from Alabama. Washington, you know, maybe, maybe not. But I know 3 of these 4 teams ain't going to give me no dud. So the College Football Committee got this thing right.
Hey, Steven, but did I not say last week, if we win, we're in? And I said Michigan would be 1, Washington would be 2, Texas would be 3, and we will be 4.
Yep.
Is that not what I said last week?
You said it.
Yeah.
But you know something? I'm going to say this. But the best 4 teams are not in. Let's just keep it 100. But it's in Georgia still should be in if they're going to say best 4 teams. But it's no way possible the committee will let 2 SEC teams in. That because honestly, if you want to keep it real, then let's be technical. Saturday night, that was the college football championship right there. If you want to keep it 100, that's what it is. Also, I got something I want to say to somebody very, very, very special. And when you give me a chance, Justin, I'll say it. But
actually, this is a perfect opportunity, to be honest with you, because I'd like to be able to talk a little bit about Michigan before we hop on the Stephen N. Smith segment. So, floor is yours. Go ahead. Okay, so listen, I know the transfer portal is happening right now. We lost the young man from Tyler Buckner back to Notre Dame to play rugby. But I want to thank him for his contribution. I mean, he came to us and we thought it was going to work out. It didn't work out. But this message is a personal message, and I hope that he get it to Ty Simpson and, of course, Lonergan. This is my message to you. Trust the process. Don't go nowhere. You guys are special. You saw what happened with all of the other quarterbacks with Bama that trusted the process. If Milroe comes back next year, play up under him, learn the process, and when your time comes, execute and do what you came to do. Coach Saban didn't come after y'all for nothing. You guys are special, and y'all will also go down in Bama history if you trust the process. Bump everything else that's been thrown at you. Hey, you can get playing time here, this and this and that. Sometimes it's good to wait it out. You guys are talented, and you belong at Bama. You're at Bama for a reason. Don't do like these other guys and mess it up. Trust the process. Steve, stay right there. We got a super chat from Arlette Collins, $5. How do you feel about Michigan's reaction to playing Bama, which allows us to go to our next topic? And Steve Brown, have you found David Pollock yet?
I have been looking all over for Dave, and I think Dave has cut his phone off. But, you know, that night I got his number, but I couldn't call him because I ran out of minutes, and I lost my window of opportunity. So there we have it.
Well, hopefully you do find him. But let's talk a little bit about Michigan. I know we all saw the reaction, and we automatically thought, okay, this is going to be cake, homecoming opponent. Not so much. This Michigan team is a little bit better than what we've seen here recently. They're actually starting to get some monsters on their team, and they're able to rival in Ohio State. They have talent on that team that could rival Georgia. Matter of fact, their defense is tremendously better than what we faced against Georgia. They got a corner, Will Johnson. If you, in terms of talent level, he embodies what we have, except he's got a button turned way up. He's an SEC style lockdown corner. That secondary, they're no joke. If you're going to complete a pass against them, you're going to have to absolutely earn it. Then up front, they have some dudes that Georgia did not have. Kenneth Grant, an absolute alien. They haven't had a guy like that. 340 pounds of dude who can chase down a running back from 20 yards away. Of course, they got some guys on offense. We already know about Blake Corum. He is arguably one of the best running backs in the country. J.J. McCarthy is one of the best quarterbacks in the country. His stats are similar to where Jalen Milroe's are right now, but let's be honest, he could have a lot more padding to his stats had Michigan not taken him out early or not had the need to actually use him as a passer. They've actually just beaten people into submission running the ball. They're physical. They are brutes. You got to match their intensity. You can't make mistakes against them. If you do, that's where they make their living. So, guys, let's talk a little bit about our upcoming opponent. Of course, we'll dive into it as the weeks progress. Steve Brown, you start us out. Then Marvin and Stephen Smith. Talk to us about the Wolverines. Talk to us about Jim Harbaugh. What's he got in store for us?
Well, besides stealing signs, I hope that all of Bama's practices are closed. I mean, like underground. That's number one. And number two, I would say you're saying all this about these guys. Okay, I give them that. But again, who have they played? Have they played any SEC caliber team? Every team they played have been cupcakes, if you want to keep it 100. They've had down seasons with the exception of Ohio State. And they didn't look that grand against Ohio State. The only stud that I've seen so far from watching all of these games that really stood out to me was number 77 from Bama. You talking about an alien? That's a damn alien. That's an alien. And I'm looking at look who they played. That's why we got the reaction we got from them when they found out they were playing Bama. It was like, oh, okay, we playing some aliens for real. This is not your average cupcake team. We are playing Bama, and it showed. So that's what it is. So I'm not bought in. I believe if Bama goes and do what they're supposed to do, it's going to get ugly. I just believe that.
You're absolutely right. You make a great point. And going into Georgia, I think a major advantage for Alabama was the fact that Georgia was not battle tested, and it showed. They weren't ready for what we brought to the table. And here Michigan is perfect example. They look great against the teams they've played, and against so-so Ohio State, they haven't faced adversity. They don't know what it means to get hit in the mouth. They're not battle tested. Huge advantage, Alabama.
And Justin, we're the underdog going in.
Do you really want to put us in that role?
We're the underdog. I'm done.
Marvin, go ahead. But before that, Ray Parham, $5. They can run that prehistoric offense against our front if they want to. It's going to be a long day for them if they try to run on our front. Take it, Marvin.
Listen, I've watched Michigan time and time again this season. They want to try to dominate that line of scrimmage, establish that run, and then set up that play action pass. Their deep threat, truly not a threat, if you ask me. They've shown me nothing to really make me say, this is going to be the guy we really have to worry about. I think that our defensive line will do enough to control that line of scrimmage. And unfortunately, in 2000 Orange Bowl, we lost to Michigan. This guy named Tom Brady came in. But I'll be damned, he ain't coming out this time. So I'm going to tell you right damn now, baby, ain't nothing coming out of that tunnel to save your ass from this Alabama team. This team is destined to win it all. Built by Bama. Look at the steps that they've taken from game one to where they are now. A completely different team. What adversity has Michigan faced? They beat a pedestrian Ohio State team that should have lost to Notre Dame. Struggled against Penn State. So again, you beat Ohio State means nothing to me because, again, this has been a pedestrian Ohio State team. So what do I expect to happen in this game? I expect us to, again, control the line of scrimmage just as we did against Georgia. Now, the thing that I like the most about us going into this game is the fact that we do have Milroe because, like you said, Justin, they have that one corner. But the thing about it, when you have a mobile quarterback that can run, it makes it a lot more difficult to play that cover 1 and that cover 0 because that mobile quarterback will torch your ass. If you look at what we did against Georgia, when we needed that 4th down with 2 minutes and 51 seconds to go, that mobile quarterback got us what we needed. Michigan is going to get that early and often because, again, those big bodies that they have that don't really move, oh, that is a mobile quarterback's dream, man. And I'm so excited to see the growth of our wide receivers peaking at the right time. I don't think Michigan has the personnel to match up with us, especially in terms of skill position. I don't see it happening. So I see this team making another statement on January 1.
And just as Georgia, Michigan hadn't faced a quarterback like Jalen Milroe. How do you prepare for that? They haven't seen anything like that in the Big Ten. Another advantage to Bama. Stephen Smith, we've kept you waiting in the wings for far too long.
Justin, one thing I'd like to add to your point real quick. When you say they hadn't faced a quarterback like Milroe, the most difficult thing to simulate is a mobile quarterback in practice when you're preparing to play. That is the most difficult thing to simulate. So I don't think that they'll fully be prepared for what Jalen truly brings to the table.
Maybe J.J. McCarthy can provide a little bit of help there. He runs a 4.4, but can anybody truly match what Jalen can bring to the table? Stephen Smith, like I said, we kept you waiting in the wings for far too long. If you would close out this subject, then we'll move on to your segment, sir.
I mean, how fitting is this, guys, that the Saban run of championships in Alabama started in Pasadena, California. You play Texas, 2010 title game off the 09 season. That's where it started. How fitting it is to have Saban return to Pasadena with a whole different statement. I still run college football. Nobody has gotten over me yet. And you get to take on Michigan and the granddaddy of them all for Saban to cement the start of that statement. I'm excited about this matchup. Remember when Harbaugh first came back to college football to Michigan and he was having all of these satellite camps? People were saying he's going to be better than Nick Saban at that point in time. Harbaugh has not proven that. Now, of course, here lately he's gotten the better of Ohio State. Marvin mentioned this Ohio State team, not the teams that had C.J. Stroud, not the teams that had J.T. Barrett, not the teams that had Cardale Jones or any of those quarterbacks in particular. So Michigan hasn't really been pushed this season either. So now they're going to be the team that's going to give them everything plus more. And Vegas, I don't know why, but Vegas again has Bama as an underdog in this one by either 2 points or 1.5 points. Still Bama underdog. This team has been overlooked so much. It's like Bama. They love it. They love being overlooked. They love being undervalued. It's just something about that gets this Bama team internally going, but then externally going. I love this match. Remember, these two teams played against each other the end of the 2019 season, and Mac Jones went out there and torched them. Mac Jones, Najee Harris, Jerry Jeudy went out there and torched them. Here we go again with this team with the mobile quarterback, receivers peaking at the right time. Keep in mind, Jace McClellan is going to be healthy going into this matchup, so you're going to have all your running backs back. Kool-Aid's going to be healthy going into this matchup off the minor concussion, but if you do decide to play Trey Amos, you're still fine there. The point being, this team against Michigan, Michigan's not going to have a shot. I mean, I like McCarthy. I like Blake Corum, but you're more of a running team. Alabama's going to stop the run. J.J. McCarthy, you hit him a few times. You got Dallas Turner and Chris Braswell coming at you at 100 miles per hour. That ain't going to be fine.
Hey, Steven, I'm just glad old Jimmy and his khaki stopped making rap videos.
No, I'm glad he stopped wearing them jerseys and them chains, man.
All right,
that ain't going to get him a win.
Steve, before I get to your segment, we got a couple of super chats. Man, we got a great group of fans. Kelly Weathersby, 1999 contribution for Steve's collection plate and Marvin's blood pressure meds.
Oh no, man.
And then we got Pacino with $5. Michigan lost their best weapon in Connor Stallions.
Hey, listen, man, I got to tell y'all one thing. Y'all don't know how many people were calling me, texting me, DMing me on Sunday before the selection show, telling me, "Oh, y'all ain't gonna get in. Alabama ain't this. Alabama ain't." That's why I was so fired up, man, because people were killing my phone all day. And the moment it came across the phone, off the screen, all you haters, it just came out, man. It just came out because for some reason, everybody like to do this to me for some reason.
I got to.
Couldn't imagine why.
I got a confession. I want to say it now. Marvin, a lot of those calls that you were getting, they were from me.
He's calling from unknown numbers.
No.
It ain't so bad.
But in all seriousness, I have so many friends that played at so many different schools, and they are the main ones who just and you got to understand something. Shout out to my boy Milford Brown. Milford was actually out with us on Friday and part of Saturday, and he played at Florida State. So you got to understand, I had to listen to this crap all weekend long, man. I was just tired of it.
Tell you what, someone who's not tired of us is Ray Parham. $5 with a team like Michigan. You don't run right at them initially. You attack the perimeter from the sideline to sideline and do some up tempo all night long, like Ric Flair. Woo! Stephen Smith, before we head out, you are the icing on top of this cake. If you would, go ahead and let the folks know what you got with the depth chart.
So with the first part of the depth chart, ladies and gentlemen, keep in mind that it will not be next week, but the following week, you're going to have National Signing Day. A lot of these young recruits, they're going to be coming in here early. They're going to be coming in, taking a part of bowl prep. Joseph Ionata, one of those guys coming in, being a part of bowl prep, getting their feet wet already in spring ball. So this is quietly a very good class. No one's really talking about it. When you look at Jillian Sayin, a 5-star quarterback, Ryan Williams at receiver, Rico Scott at receiver, Amari Rogers at running back. You got a kid, Alvin Henderson, at running back out of Elba High School. Like, this is a very good class. William Sanders, 4-star, big offensive lineman. As I mentioned, Joseph Ionata in there as well. You got a couple of edge rushers in this class. This is quietly a really good class that no one's talking about. So it's going to be interesting to see how many of these guys will be able to get here on campus, help out with bowl prep, and be a part of, helping this team when you look at the 2024 campaign. But also with the depth chart, I mentioned Kool-Aid McKinstry did have a slight concussion in the SEC championship game. He's in concussion protocol. He'll be fine, though. He'll be good to go. Jeff Allen's got him. They're working with him. He'll be fine for the bowl game. Dallas Turner, I know he got nicked up and banged up, but he was in the press conference room. I got a chance to talk to him. QB killer's fine. He walked in there. He walked back out. He all right. There's no issue there with Dallas Turner. Jace McClellan actually practiced. He actually practiced before in warm-ups for the championship game. Saban did not play him. Precautionary reasons. Wanted to keep the foot. Okay. I believe Jace, he'll be ready to go by the Rose Bowl there against Michigan. And then, of course, along with Tyler Buckner, who will transfer back to Notre Dame upon the end of the season to play lacrosse, Thayu Jones-Bell hits the transfer portal as well. He came as a wide receiver from South Florida in the 2020 class. Jones-Bell just had some injuries. And when you have injuries and you get passed up on the depth chart, it's hard. You hate it for the kid, but hopefully he goes somewhere where he can make that kind of an impact that he wants to make. So right now, your two guys that will pursue the portal, Tyler Buckner, and then also Thayu Jones-Bell. But if you're Alabama fans, keep your eyes on the portal because there could be some guys going in that Bama could get. Walter Nolan. Yeah, the big defensive lineman from Texas A&M is in the portal. And Nolan was one of those guys that was high on Bama before the Texas A&M NIL came in. So keep your eyes on Walter Nolan. There are rumors out there that possibly Evan Stewart, big-time wide receiver from A&M, could hit the portal as well. Keep your eyes there also. There's a couple of defensive backs that could hit the portal. With Terrion Arnold, he could go to the draft. Kool-Aid McKinstry going after this year. Malachi Moore hitting the draft. Saban can look at a DB in the portal. So as the portal's opened, Keep your eyes on that.
Tell you what, I'm hearing a lot of good things that Evan Stewart may be headed to Tuscaloosa. That's something definitely worth watching. Big time threat at wide receiver. As far as Joseph Ionata committing to Bama, I like to think this show has something personally to do with that because he's been on here about 3 times. I think that we had an impact in his life to make him want to be a part of this family for the next 4 years. Mainly Steve. So his star power has brought to you our next star on the offensive line. So I want everybody in the chat to give Steve Brown a round of applause and some hearts to show your love for him. And Don Parker's given $2 towards that cause, but he agrees with what Marvin has said. They hate us because they ain't us. Mm-hmm. And guys, unfortunately, we have reached the time where we close things down. Before we do that, we go around the room, allowing everybody to pop what they got. Before I do that, I want to remind everybody we are a network of great Bama content. Tonight, 8 p.m. Central, 9 p.m. Eastern, The Final Whistle with Chris James, Dan James, Matt Cadell, Ty Hayes, Lucian, and Coach Smook. Tomorrow, 6 p.m. Central, 7 p.m. Eastern. Folks, y'all showed up and showed out tonight. Round of applause for y'all. 538 people live.
Y'all bring that? Repeat that number again.
538 people live. I need the same energy tomorrow night for the Crimson Dynasty and see She Payne, Chris Owens, her co-host, along with Coach Smook. And then tomorrow night, the nightcap, the legend himself, Mr. The Strip, George Teague with his son, JT, Steve Brown's favorite Teague, for Teague's Take, 8:15 p.m. Central, 9:15 p.m. Eastern. We got a lot of things going. Stay tuned to this channel. Folks, this wrap things up. Marvin, start us out. Tell us about 40 Plus Strong. Tell us where they can find you on social media along with all your famous clips.
All right. So before I get to that, I'm going to go ahead and assure you all over the next week, Saturday, there's no, Alabama football to watch. I'll be watching several Michigan games, dissecting them to tell y'all how we can beat them or what I think it'll look like when we play them. Because usually I'm pretty good at, taking what, I know Alabama likes to do and how it would actually translate to who we're playing. So I'll do that for you all this week. So don't worry. Come next Tuesday, I'll have that formula for you. So you can follow me on Instagram, Constant45. If you're looking for a great resource or something to help you get in shape, you can grab a copy of my book, Physical and Mental Fitness at 40 Plus. It's a great tool if you're over 40, late 30s, 50s, and you're looking to get in shape. And it's not going to be crazy lifts or anything like that. Best $15 you'll ever spend. Majority of it goes to Amazon. So it's not like I'm out here getting rich off this thing. But I just want people to understand that at this age, it's a different approach because myself, I've had 7 knee surgeries, knee replacement, shoulder surgery, arm surgery. I'm beat up and I'm still in great shape. But, just understanding that approach in terms of how you work out and what things you put in your body so that you can, at 44 years old, baby, still be holding. So again, that link is on my Amazon. It's on my Twitter, and if you ever have any questions, you can always reach me on on Twitter and Instagram. I'm always available. And people will tell you, I respond quickly.
Yeah, he does. And if y'all want to see the videos in question, go to our shorts section on this YouTube channel or our TikTok at the _Bama Standard. Also, folks, I'm going to try my best to get former Michigan players on here as well to provide their unique perspective, to give y'all a little bit of a different way of looking at things leading up to this bowl game. Also, keep your fingers crossed. I'm currently working on next Tuesday night getting none other than Tim Keenan, our star defensive lineman, on this show. So hopefully we can make that happen before we give it to Steve Brown. We got some more money coming at us. My gosh. The Inquisitive Prince, $20. Look at the chaos Coach Nick Saban has caused from the NIL transfer portal, transfer rules, recruiting cycles, and schedule, and so on. The entire college football has done everything just to stop Bama. Nothing has worked. Ty Alexander, we love you, Steve. You the man. $4.99.
$4.99. Wait a minute. I thought
hold on.
like 1,000 or something.
I will say this one thing to that comment about Coach Saban. He did warn everyone about NIL and the transfer portal and what it was going to do that for Alabama, but they wouldn't listen.
All right, everybody's listening to Steve Brown. Steve, how can they find the star of the show when he's not on the show? And what appearances will you be making soon?
As a matter of fact, I got an appearance tonight right in Douglasville, Georgia. But you can follow me on Instagram, Comic Steve Brown, one word, Comic Steve Brown, and on my fan page. Make sure you hit up the fan page on Facebook, Comedian Steve Brown fan page. Simple as that, Comedian Steve Brown fan page. Of course, you can see me on the Bama Standard being the star that I am. This was only a one-time thing for Marvin. He was the
What?
He
Oh,
was a,
he's twitching. We can't let him repeat that.
he was nice. He was a tonight, but from this point on, you know, but he was the.
But look, hey, Steve, somebody put in the comments about me hopping over the sofa. Technically, I didn't hop over the sofa. I got to the sofa and I was like, oh crap, the knee. So it was kind of a step.
Well, you know, it's okay because the sofa is in there because Ronald Center went and got it. But listen, yeah, it's not there anymore.
A testament to Marvin's surgeon there. I hadn't seen him jump like that since 1998. Stephen and Smith, how can folks find you? What do you got coming up? And then we'll close on out.
Well, what we got coming up here, we're going to get some stuff prepared for, like I said, signing days coming up. So we got recruiting shows coming. We're breaking down recruits. We're getting them ready to get their national letters of intent turned in to have these guys prepared for bowl prep, and the ones that will just be here for spring ball, getting them in. And then the ones that are going to be here for just the summer, for them to get in before the next season starts, to get those guys in. So our focus is on the signing day, and after the signing day, getting the people revved up for Bama, Michigan. I'm pumped for this matchup. I might do this. I might steal all of the khaki pants from Jim Harbaugh just so he won't have khaki pants to wear for the game. I may take one for the team. I may take one for the team and do that. I'm not going to do that because I can't afford to get sued right now. So I will not sit there and take on Jim Harbaugh.
Do it. Have his ass out there in biker shorts.
Go get you one of those Rent-A-Center vans and just take down all the TJ Maxxes.
You know what? Y'all give me an idea, and I will hold myself accountable to that.
Steve, if you take all the khakis, he's going to be out there in shorts, white tube socks, and white New Balances. We don't want to see that.
We appreciate everybody here tonight in the audience. We had almost 600 folks live at one time. Couldn't do it without you. We definitely appreciate, and I did notice here, we had some Michigan fans in the chat. So we invite you back. Bring more Michigan folks with you. We got a lot of controversy to stir up, and we got a lot of facts coming your way. Until next week, everybody, roll Tide.
Woo! Roll Tide.
Roll Tide.